Hello everyone, and welcome to Chaos and Order Art by Susan Holt. That is me. I'm gonna set up my computer over here, make sure that everything is working. So just give me one moment. Tonight is September 17th, 2025. And before I get started too far, I'm going to do a little bit of housekeeping. Okay. I can see myself, I can hear myself, I can also see your comments over on my computer, so we are set and ready to go. I see Linda and Crystal are here. Hello, welcome. Thanks for being with me tonight. So if you are watching live and in replay here tonight, give me all the thumbs up, give me all those little hearts, give me all of the comments and questions you have. Crystal says hello. And if you are watching in replay, also go ahead and put hashtag replay down in the comments for me so I know you stopped by. If you are watching this later tonight on YouTube, go ahead and like and subscribe if you see what you like. And I appreciate your comments and questions there as well. Oh, excuse me. So today I am going to work on a new painting with you. And I'll show it to you from top to bottom first. But before I do that, I have two paintings going into an exhibit up at the Arizona Artists Guild. And they will be going up, it's either Saturday or Sunday. I don't remember which day, but this weekend. So they will be up there. And the Arizona Artists Guild is open during most studio times for people to come in and look at the art up there. And of course, the monthly meetings, as well as there will be a show opening. So I will let you know when the show opening is, and I would love to see you there. So if you can join us for that, that would be fantastic. But the two paintings I have are bubble paintings. If you would like to see them, they're just right there. Let me pop over and get them. I'll even do this the easy way. Okay, got them. So here's the first one going over, and these are little 16 by 20s. Sorry, there's a reflection over there, the camera light. There it is. So that one is going. I do have to frame these still. That is on my list of things to do for the show. And then here is the second one that's going. Dun, dun, dun. So those have gotten into the show. This is the critique group show for members of our critique groups. And I've talked about critique groups before, how they help us as artists make our art better. And I have had a lot of help from the critique group that I am in, from the other critique group that is there as well. Sometimes we have combined classes, and I get information from them on how to do better critiques myself and how to make my art better from people that are different than I usually get feedback from. So that's always helpful. And Arizona Artists Guild also has an open critique right before the monthly meetings on those Wednesdays. Tuesdays. Yesterday that happened. I didn't happen to have a piece that I needed critique on, but a lot of other people did. And I always love to hear kind of what other artists have to say. And then we get to kind of pick and choose what bits of information we get from the critiques and use it in our art. Crystal has a question. She says, do you varnish on your paintings? And if so, what kind do you use? Yes. Yes, I varnish my paintings. Oh, I see Cinnamon is here. Hey. Yes, I varnish my paintings. Because I have so many steps in my bubble paintings, I don't use 2 layers of varnish, but I do use kind of in between some of my layers. I use a glazing medium, and that makes it so that some of the paint I use that isn't necessarily as cured, not dried, but cured, isn't as necessarily cured as the rest of the paint on this is. It kind of puts a barrier in between so I can do certain steps at certain times without it taking more time for it to cure. So I have that, and that is a glazing medium. And I just realized that I did not put glazing medium on the painting I will be working on tonight. I actually varnished it, and it's a gloss varnish for acrylic paint. So I will not show you the name of it, but I got some of this in kind of a goodie bag and started using it, and I really like it because I can water it down a little bit, or I can make it a little thicker if I need it. So this one has been varnished because I grabbed the wrong bottle, but that's okay. It will act the same as the barrier that I need between steps. I'm just surprising myself, that's all. So I do have my barrier down, and it is ready to go for the next step. I'm going to back up and show you this new painting kind of in total, and then I will get to work on it. So here it is. I've got some bubbles and some butterflies this time, so I'm trying to get those highlights a little off. There you go. So this is the painting I'm working on tonight, and I'm trying something new with the bubbles in the black, because I tried to put black paint on black paint to see if I could get my usual bubble stuff to take that way, and it's a different kind of paint, so I thought they might be, one would be more glossy than the other, and that didn't really work out. They had kind of the same gloss to them, so I did gray, a gray outline on the bubbles for that, so they're gonna look a little bit different tonight. Crystal says, LOL, okay, cool, thanks for the info. And you can find, if you're working with acrylic paint, you can find acrylic varnish or acrylic glazing medium, and you can use your glazing medium as a varnish, but I prefer to use the varnish as a varnish. And I've also used some Rust-Oleum 2X clear as a varnish, and it works just fine. So if you would rather have a spray than a brush on, it works just fine. It's not a problem. The only thing, it might be a problem for future conservators, but I will be dead by then, so I don't really care. So that is what my vernishing stuff is. Crystal also says that's a big painting, but that looks beautiful. Yeah, it's bigger than I usually go, but it's not as big as the 24 by 36. So it's just a different size and a little bit different shape. I'm going to move the camera so you can see my workstation. I think I'm going to put it at an angle so you get more of the painting in there. Let's see, this is the corner of the painting. Okay. And then the other corner goes all the way up that way. And I'll be moving this around as I work on it tonight, so you can see pretty much what I'm doing. There we go. I think that's better. All right. So, the next step on this is going to be for my bubbles. I have kind of the basic shape and shadow on. So now I'm going to put on the white part of the bubble outline. And I'll show you on this one. So up here, I think you can see, try to get the glare off of it, that I actually put color around the edge as well. So the white outline does not stay completely white. And this is just my technique. It's what I do. It's what I came up with. So it's not, not in any textbooks or YouTube videos that I have watched or read. It's just what I do. And I urge you to watch, if you want to make bubbles of your own, I urge you to actually watch a lot of the YouTube content creators out there and then pick and choose what you like about what they do, which is what I did. So I didn't want my stuff to look like they made it. I want my stuff to look like I make it. Because honestly, my brain works the way it works. And for better or worse, that's what it does. So having my art look like I make it, I think is complete and total bonus. Having your art look like you make it is total bonus for you. I've said this before and I'll say it again, and that's because, you know, my brain works different than yours. My hands are different shapes than yours. I mean, they're hand shaped, sure, but my skeletal structure and my muscles, they're kind of made different than yours, and that's great. That's wonderful. It's been absolutely fantastic. Because that way, even if we're doing similar things, they're not ever going to be exactly the same. And that's a very good thing in the art world. And that's also how forgers are caught. They're trying to make their art look like somebody else's art. Just making sure I can see this on the camera for you. There we go. So I urge you to go on YouTube and look for some inspiration of your own. And I looked at several other artists and took things that they did that I liked and left the things they did that I did not like. So you gotta pick and choose what your brain, what makes sense to your brain, and what you like to create, the look you want. And remember, art is not a competition. Some people like to think art is a competition, but it's not. No. What I make and what you make are completely different. And thank goodness that it is completely different, Because if we all made the same thing, it would be so boring. Ugh, so boring. I don't want boring art. I mean, I know my art is a little weird. And that's because I'm a little weird. And that's okay. We can't all be Rembrandt. Thank goodness. If we were, we'd all be dead. Because, you know, he lived a couple hundred years ago. A few hundred years ago? It's been a while. Been a while since he's been around. Okay. Last night at the Arizona Artists Guild, we had a presenter talk to us about kind of our mindset as artists. You know, some of us have roadblocks in our mind. Sometimes I don't feel like my art is, and I'll just speak for myself. Sometimes I don't feel like my art is cool, but I like what I do. I like my art. But sometimes I think it may be too weird for other people. But then I think to myself, yeah, my art may be weird, but I know there are people who like it. Because this is how my brain works. Oh. Come on, little paint pen, you can do it. But this is how my brain works. I may be out of paint in my paint pen. Not out of paint. Excellent. So yeah, this is how my brain works. Yeah. And I like how my brain works. 99.9% of the time. I like what I create. And I like that it's different than what everybody else creates. And that's not just okay, it's absolutely fantastic. Art is supposed to be unique. It's supposed to be individual. I'm gonna call this paint pen dead. Thank you for service. Goodbye. Luckily, I do have another paint pen. It's gonna take me a minute to get it going. Gotta shake it up. Get the paint moving. This is slower than watching paint dry, and I apologize for that. my art is my own. I don't use AI. Clearly, I don't use AI. I don't agree with using AI for art. I agree with using it for other things, but not art. Do I think it's ready to be used for other things? No. Does it have a lot more to learn still? Yes. But I think that art needs to belong to artists, not to AI. Just like my designs need to belong to me and my brain. And your art and your designs need to belong to your brain. Crystal is asking if the paint pens can be refilled. These cannot. These are disposable paint pens. I have tried the refill ones for ink pens, and they are sometimes not worth the hassle. There we go. Yay. I think a refill paint pen would be really messy. Super messy. Okay. Let's see this one as well. And also she says, agreed, being like everyone else makes things dull. 100%. 100%. So even though some people think what I do is a little out of the box, I like to say that what I do is a lot out of the box. And I am okay with that. I am better than okay with that. I like the way my brain works. I like the way my art turns out. And I like that I have the skill and the talent to adjust my work as I go. Or go back in and make it better. Because not everything turns out right the first time. Actually, I have some spots in this painting that did not turn out the way I wanted them to the first time. So I had to go back over them already. And that's okay. Not everything an artist makes, especially me, is going to be super perfect the first time around. That's why there are some pieces that we have to set to the side and think about them kind of on the back burner in our brains. I have a painting like that. Actually, it's been on my back burner for several months now. It knows what it's done wrong. I just haven't figured it out yet. But I'm getting there. I have little flashes of, oh yeah, I probably should do that. And then I think about those little flashes and I think about how I would fix that part that needs fixing, and if what I'm thinking of is going to be the solution or another problem. Because sometimes these things are just bigger problems. So, till I get that figured out and settled in my head, I'm still not touching that. But I have other things that I'm working on while my brain thinks about it. And I suppose it's just like any big decision that people have in their lives. Just think about things. Hopefully there's time to think about it. And with me, it's literally a painting, so it's not a life and death scenario, so I have plenty of time to think about it. So it's not anything I need to rush. And that's okay. Sometimes I do get very quiet when I work on my art, and it's not because I don't have things to say, it's just because for me art is soothing and calming, and it kind of resets everything in my brain. So What happens is I don't go quiet because I don't have anything to say. I go quiet because I am focused. Kind of get in that Zen art mode. So it's not because nothing's wrong, and if something looks a little weird, it's not because it's not fixable. It's just the way my brain creates. A lot of artists do this. We kind of get into the zone. A little art zone in our brain. All the dopamine gets released. We just happily sit here and create, or stand and create, or whatever. For those of you who are athletes, a lot of people actually, the scientists who have done tests on it say it's a lot like a runner's high because of all the dopamine and the endorphins that get run through your body and your brain. Kind of get you into that quiet zone. So it's not a bad thing, but it's definitely a focus thing. And since I have runner's asthma, I start to run and I just cannot breathe anymore. This is a better way of getting those endorphins released for me. So yay. See, Crystal says one of the few times her mind goes silent, especially if she's just coloring on not focusing on lines or dimensions. Yes, 100%. When I injured my ankle to the point where I was not very mobile for a few years, I got some adult coloring books, but I wanted all the ones that were that had all the teeny tiny little pieces and squares and or shapes in them. I didn't want just the ones with the big globs of shapes. One of the little tiny shapes. Oh, I know this surprises nobody who has been with me here for a while or has known me for any amount of time that I want the more intricate things for art stuff. Oh, it should surprise absolutely no one. On this painting, I'm not quite sure I'm done adding bubbles or not. I'm actually going to let this kind of sit around. If you hear the whirring in the background, it's because my husband is printing something. The printer is in my studio. Oh, yes. But what I was saying before the printer went off is I don't know if I'm done adding bubbles to this quite yet. I do want to do a few more design elements and see if I need any more bubbles. And what I will actually do is take a step away or take several steps away. I'll prop this up and then go look from across the room. Decide if it's got enough movement and motion, or if just adding some of the smaller dots that I still have to do and some of the other things that I still have to do is going to be enough or not. All just depends on what it's going to take to make this painting look how I want it to look. Okay. So I am going to put this back up this way and show this to you now. Myself some perspective on it. Oh, I see April is here. Hello, hello. Welcome, welcome. So that's what it's looking like so far. And it's going pretty good. Yeah, it's going pretty good. So let me sit back down and rearrange the camera again. So that's all I'm going to do in front of you guys tonight. I do have a lot more to do on this painting. I don't know if I'm going to get it done by next week or not. I may still be working on it at that point. But I think it's coming along and I'm happy with the direction it's going so far. I have to adjust a couple things now that I have the white circles on. But I'm happy with it. I am happy with it. And I hope you guys are happy with it too. So when I have the information for the our opening night at the Arizona Artists Guild for the critique group show, I will post it here on Chaos and Order Art by Susan Holt here on Facebook, and probably everywhere else on social media, so that you know when you can show up and see some really, really cool art by some really wonderful, talented artists here in Arizona. And if you love one of my paintings or some jewelry or whatever it is that I make that you've had your eye on, now is a great time to go ahead and get that for yourself or for a loved one before the holiday rush starts in a couple of months, because it's coming. We are in mid-September, so that's a month and a half away from November. So if you're thinking about commissioning me for something, absolutely, let's get on that now. If not, if it's just a painting that you want out of my stock, you can go to my website, actually, www.saholtstudios.com, and you can just shop in the comfort of your own home. If you're local and you want to come to my studio for a studio visit, my studio is a complete wreck right now, but I will absolutely open it for you. I see Ashley is here. Hey, Ashley, welcome, welcome. So if you're looking to get some early presents or some gifts for those that you love, who have birthdays or special occasions coming up, let me know. I've got a plethora of things for you. I do not have a bunch of the larger bubble paintings up on my website yet, but I will be working on that soon. I put that in quotes because artist soon could be tomorrow or it could be in 2 months. We'll see what happens. But other than that, thank you for watching with me tonight. Crystal, thank you so much for being here live with me and making all those comments and really, really wonderful questions. I appreciate it so very much. Thank you, thank you. And I'm going to keep working on this. So that's going to be it for me tonight. Thank you for watching here on Chaos and Order, Art by Susan Holt, and on YouTube. I hope you have a really wonderful rest of your week and an artful weekend, and I will see you next Wednesday. Oh, Crystal says thank you and have a wonderful night. You too. Bye, everybody. Thank you.